Hello, I'm Andy Tattersall. I'm a freelance research communications consultant and the host of this Under Review podcast. Welcome to this Under Review rapid response where we're discussing X, and I know what you're thinking. I left X ages ago. Why should I be interested? But for many UK research organisations, universities and other aligned associations, they've been very slow to drag themselves away from Elon Musk's misinformation hate machine. For the last few years, the UK academic community's relationship with the platform formerly known as Twitter, and now X, has been a classic case of it's complicated. But as early 2026, the data tells a new story. The balance has finally tipped. UK universities and other organisations, primarily in the UK, are now in the minority in terms of being on X. I've been tracking a dataset of nearly 500 UK universities, learned societies, funders and publishers to see who decided to stick, who decided to twist after the sea change of October 2022 when Elon Musk bought the platform. And interestingly, it was the 141 universities in the UK who proved to be the most reluctant to leave the party. Even though the bar was dry, the toilets were blocked and the DJ was dropping. Now that's what I call a conspiracy theory volume 10. To be fair, X served us all very well for well over a decade. It was the digital front porch for student recruitment, a megaphone for research successes, and a way to make a rainy campus look like a shimmering beacon of enlightenment. But the glow has faded, engagement has crashed, and staying any longer is starting to look a little less like holding the fort and more like getting trapped in the basement with some rather dodgy people. Before Christmas 2025, more than 50% of UK universities were still stubbornly posting. Many had retreated into a safe shell of sticking to festive greetings, open day reminders and harmless campus photographs, while quietly mothballing their research and teaching threads. Activity was being waned back. But the new year brought a wave of new resolutions, and in the last few months, 13 more institutions have ceased posting entirely, and 5 others have gone through the digital equivalent of a formal breakup, posting publicly, "It's not me, it's definitely you," exit statements. Queen's University Belfast broke protocol by accounting they were leaving and why, stating their decision reflected a commitment to spaces that are respectful, inclusive and aligned with the university's values. And the post has been viewed more than 38,000 times, which is about 20 times more than their typical posts. Naturally, this was met with 150 responses, many of which were, let's just say, on brand for modern X, a mix of right-wing vitriol and bots. One account called Documenus replied to say they were unfollowing the university, which is the X equivalent of, "You can't break up with me, I'm breaking up with you first." The maths are now clear that 76 UK university accounts are now inactive or have quit. 65 continue to post in 2026, so over 50% are no longer there. The silent list, those who have simply stopped in recent months, include Birmingham City University, Brighton, Bristol, who went quiet on New Year's Day, so a New Year's resolution for them, Canterbury Christchurch, Lancaster, Leeds Trinity, Lincoln, Nottingham, Sussex, Teesside and York. Then there were the more public breakups, those who actually made some form of announcement that they were going as opposed to just ceasing their activity. This was Bournemouth, Nottingham Trent, Royal Holloway, Swansea. They stated they were no longer using X without giving too much of a reason, and as a result have not faced the kicking that Belfast has. York St John University cited a more technical concern, specifically the use of Grok AI and the ethical issues that have related to that under Elon Musk's direction. Now, I've heard the counter-argument about why we should stay on X. We should stay to fight the misinformation, be a voice of reason. And as someone from an information science, communications consultant, I want to believe that. But honestly, Trying to fight misinformation on X right now is like having a blindfolded fight with 20 monkeys all wearing boxing gloves, all absolutely off their heads on high voltage energy drinks. You aren't winning, you're just getting hit from directions you can't see by people you don't know. While thousands of research related posts still happen every day, the volume continues to decline to create the kind of graph an Olympic skier would love to ski down. There have been a few nails in academic X's coffin, and prior to Musk's takeover in 2022, there were nails already starting to be hammered in. But the Musk takeover was the first solid nail. And then it was the return of the banished, allowing controversial and previous banned figures back onto the platform. Then a political shift as Donald Trump's return to the US presidency and his renewed attacks on scientific evidence and the scientific community. Then there was the Grok factor, X's AI tool enabling the creation of explicit and inappropriate imagery, which led to one university deciding that was too much. In 2022, I wrote for the LSE Impact blog predicting that organisations would drag their feet to the exit very slowly, and individuals would leave in a heartbeat. Institutions require committees, working papers, consensuses, and a lot of hand-wringing. But for the 65 universities still posting, why? What is the metric or the ethics that justifies staying? Is it your ethics? Is it a habit? Is it just the fear of the unknown? The jury is obviously still out on whether Blue Sky is the true successor, and probably will never ever achieve Twitter's heights. But the energy is shifting. For every 2 tweets relating to a research paper, there is one on Blue Sky. But remember, Blue Sky has a much smaller number of users, so research takes up more of Blue Sky's bandwidth than it does on X. And it's not just universities who are eyeing the exit. The wider academic neighbourhood is currently undergoing a mass tactical retreat. And I've been tracking 324 research and academic organisations. And as of late, February 2026, the data shows a very similar picture. 80 of those organisations have officially posted their goodbyes. 11 learned societies have gone even further, deleting their accounts entirely with a digital bonfire. Many others have posted that they are halting activity, which is academic speak for we're going out for a bottle of milk and we aren't coming back. When you add in the 101 accounts that haven't uttered a single character since the end of 2025, we're looking at 184 organisations. That's nearly 57% of the sector who have effectively ghosted the platform. Of course, some major players are still clinging to the mast of this sinking ship. We see leading universities, publishers, funders still posting into the void. But perhaps the most baffling stayer is CILIP, the Library and Information Association. Now think about that for a second. The very body that champions information literacy, ethical data management, and the fight against misinformation is still maintaining a residency in the penthouse suite of the Ministry of Disinformation. It's like a group of fire safety inspectors deciding to hold their annual AGM inside a firework factory that's currently on fire. Given their reputation for empowering impact and their own ethical framework, watching them cling onto a platform that opposes their very ethos, well, it's not a great look. And it does really seem fitting that the people whose job it is to organise and verify the world's knowledge should probably stop contributing to a platform that is currently dismantling it. Many have retreated to the safety of LinkedIn, and that's a sensible choice right now. There is activity on there, increased activity across the academic community and the professional service community. But let's be honest, migrating from X to LinkedIn is like leaving a riotous, crumbling bar and walking straight into a corporate conference in a windowless hotel basement. It does run the risk of becoming a digital hall of mirrors where humans use AI to write thought leadership pieces about AI, which is then summarized by AI for other humans who are too busy using AI to actually read it. We could achieve the dead internet dream on a platform where bots congratulate each other on productivity hacks they'll never actually use. Whether these universities and other organisations choose, they need to choose fast. Because the world of digital reputation, nobody wants the honour of being the last person at the party talking to themselves whilst 20 excited monkeys are staring at you from the corner. The central question is, if X is a cesspool, why are we still pitching stories to media organisations we may not like? It feels like a contradiction. If there is a robust metric-driven argument for leaving why leaving one and staying with the other is a valid strategy, by 2026 the algorithm of X is no longer a neutral distributor, and there's your answer. It is a curated funnel that actively prioritises blue check, rage bait, and deprioritises external links to research. When a university posts on X, they aren't talking to the public. They are talking to a shrinking room of bots and polarised accounts. Love it or hate it, mass media still has a large organic reach into demographics that universities and academics desperately need to reach. Parents, patients, taxpayers, journalists, funders, non-academics. When a research story appears there, it's currently being consumed by a human audience through a direct editorial choice. It's not perfect, but it still works. Organisations and academics are leaving X because the platform's own management has dismantled the safety rails, leading to AI-generated deepfakes and the promotion of anti-science sentiment at the highest levels. Do you still want to be there? If academia retreats from every outlet it doesn't share its exact worldview, then it does become a literal ivory tower, and I get that. But using the media and other social media platforms, which are still to an extent working to share life-saving medical research or social insights, is a way of meeting the public where they are, rather than shouting into the void of a broken social network, because that's what X is right now. You are literally shouting into the void. The algorithms are destroying your content. People may ask that if we leave X, shouldn't we stop talking to the Daily Mail or the Telegraph or the Express or others? And to that I would say, I get it. The Daily Mail and other news organisations aren't everyone's cup of tea, but in the world of research comms, we have to distinguish between content we don't like and infrastructure that doesn't work and, more importantly, actively and wholesalely attacks the scientific community and people within it. The Daily Mail is not without its problems, but it does directly communicate science to parts of society. We don't leave X because we're too good for the conversation. We leave because the conversation has been replaced by hateful shouting and misinformation. It's no longer valid. We all hoped that Twitter would grow out of its edgy teenager phase, but at 20, it has the impulse control of a toddler and the ego of a middle manager who just discovered crypto. It's reached the age where it should be finishing a degree, but instead it's just spent the last 4 years getting radicalised by its own algorithm and picking fights with anyone who uses a multisyllable word. When an institution decides to leave X, the departure shouldn't be a frantic flit. It should be professional, a handover that preserves the university's digital authority. The most effective approach is to treat it like a strategic relocation rather than a protest. Post a final pinned visual message that clearly directs followers to your other digital presences, ensuring the account continues to exist to prevent impersonation by bad actors. And this strategy allows you to maintain your handle and legacy while signalling to your audience that the conversation has not ended. It's simply moved to a space more conducive to high-level academic discourse.